Yeah, here we are again. Before anyone complains why I'm not doing Chase instead of Priver, I only had a little time to decide, and Priver is more popular so far, so I'm reacting to Priver today.
Priver is a rare variation of the husky pet in wildcraft, the husky pet being one of many small companions that you can equip to fight with you, whether you choose to play in single player or multiplayer in the game. Priver is a very recent occurrence to wildcraft, with the first reported incident of its existence being just at the beginning of this winter. It's unknown what exactly caused Priver to exist. One unlikely possibility is that Priver is a result of a sick joke by the game's developers, but seeing as this would be very...
A sick joke from the developers? Never heard of me? Maybe you should draw her attention to me. Or you'd better leave it alone before she ends up being against me.
out of character for them, as well as damaging to their reputation, it's most likely that, and should be assumed that, Priver is simply the result of a hacker coding it into the game. Whatever the cause of this entity is, it's important for players to be aware of it, what it does, and how they can keep themselves safe and their data safe by avoiding Priver. Priver looks entirely identical to the husky pet, that being a black and white husky pup with blue eyes, although there are other ways to tell the two apart. First of all, Priver seemingly cannot be obtained through any other type of chest other than a common chest. Of course, we don't know why that is for sure yet, but he has never been obtained through any other type of chest so far. If you obtain Priver through any other type of chest, or by any other means at all, for all that matter, please be sure to report that. It should be noted that players who open chests while being the animal wolf and having this skin will give them a significantly higher chance of receiving Prior through a chest than...
Imagine you misunderstand this and get Priver from a chest, and you are so scared that you write to the developers.
Please help me. I got Priver from the chest. What should I do now?
And the developers just think that you're not quite right in the head.
Any other type of animal or skin, though no one is exactly sure why this is.
The fact that Violet made the skin the most unpopular skin with just one video.
If you do find yourself unfortunate enough to obtain Priver through a chest, it will look like this on screen. Normally, when you obtain the normal husky pet through a chest, it will look like this. Notice how you can see the rarity? Notice the way that it's posed. Priver, unlike regular husky pets, will not appear to have a rarity of any kind, and will appear to be staring at the player with an open mouth, as opposed to standing, faced slightly away from the player like its counterpart. Some players have reported that Priver...
To be honest, Priver looks more inviting and cuter than the original pet.
...will occasionally blink or make movements to indicate that it is breathing, but no evidence of this have been recorded yet. The most obvious way to tell if you have received Priver is what happens after you receive it from a chest. If this happens, Priver will automatically be equipped to your inventory, and no matter which pet you try to switch it to, it will always automatically switch right back to Priver. No matter what your pet's name was previously, if you receive Priver, the name will be switched to Priver, and clicking on the name to change it will do nothing. Now
Priver insists on keeping his name. Can you blame him?
that you know how to properly recognize what it would look like if you were to receive Priver, It's important to know what it does and how it will affect your game based off of a few variables. We're now about to discuss what Priver does and what you'll need to know to keep yourself safe from it. If you join a game while you have obtained Priver, Priver will automatically be equipped to follow you around whichever map you choose to play on, and will affect your game differently whether you choose to play in multiplayer or single player. During multiplayer gameplay, if Priver is equipped to you, it will cause major lag to whichever game that you join. You may experience glitches, such as the music of a map being replaced by the Winter Forest map's wind zones, bosses not appearing, being unable to eat animals that have died, and Priver may occasionally perform emotes, specifically the eating or dying emote, all on its own. You may see chat messages from other players that say things such as, "It's hungry," "Feed it," and "Don't let it starve." If you confront the player that the chat appears to be from about what they're saying, they will often respond with confusion and claim that they never said those things, and any other player around will often claim that the player didn't say anything like that either.
Yeah, quite simply, I gave you a gift with Priver. I hear people complaining all the time that their pets can't eat or don't behave as lively as the family members. I have given you Priver, a living pet. Of course you have to feed it. You wanted one, then take care of it.
With all of the glitches, lag, and odd occurrences that happen when you play on multiplayer with Priver, most players may be tempted to play in single player instead, but doing this is highly cautioned against when Priver is equipped. If a player does decide to play on single player on any map, their lag will be fixed, although other strange things will occur. While, as was just stated, it is true that the strange things I'm about to explain can occur on any map, it should be noted that these things tend to happen more quickly and more frequently if you choose to play in the Winter Forest map, or if you choose to play as the skin.
Have you noticed that creepypastas feel very comfortable on the winter map? That's because it's as cold there as we are. We can also make good use of the snowstorm that acts like fog to hide. It all started with this map
mentioned earlier for the wolf. Like many things regarding Priver, no one is exactly sure why this is either. Regardless of which map you choose, when you enter single player with Priver, the first thing you may notice is you will not be able to hunt with your family or a buddy. If you leave your den, it will be just you and your pet, which will of course be Priver. The next thing a player will likely notice is that there will be no animals around to hunt. You may begin to hear faint noises such as crunching, growling, chewing, and snapping. Then, the animal you are playing as will display a variety of strange behaviors that it can't normally do during normal gameplay, especially when it's within close proximity to Priver. When near Priver, your animal may begin to shiver, sniff the air, make gagging sounds, or even walk away from Rotor without you pressing any buttons. While it is discouraged for a player to even consider playing in single player while Priver is equipped, this stage is where you should absolutely not stay past. If your animal begins to display the behaviors that were just explained, please leave the game immediately. For those curious, and for educational purposes, here is what will happen if you decide to stay. First, your animal's shivering will become more and more apparent, to the point where they slow down. They will not be able to run or walk fast anymore. If you are playing as a bird, they will no longer be able to fly. Your animal will continue to slow down until it collapses, doing this emote. At this point, you can no longer control your animal, and Priver will begin to approach it. Once Priver has gotten close enough to be standing over your animal, it will transform into a tall, skinny version of itself and...
A few months ago, when Priver was still very young, I asked him what he would like to be when he grows up. He said his favorite animals were giraffes, and he would like to be one. I think he meant that literally.
Unhinge its jaw. At this point, your screen will become black, but the game is still running as you can still hear the sounds of Arctic winds, shortly after followed by the sounds of chewing and crunching. This will continue for about a minute or so. Whether you choose to wait this out or simply leave the game and rejoin, you will find yourself at the menu with a new notification. Priver has eaten.
I would have run away too if I had been Priver. Poor Priver.
It is still hungry, but has left to look elsewhere for more food. If you then check the type of animal you were playing as, you will be met with its young form instead of the family that you earned. This means that, for the species that you chose to play as, that family will be deleted and you will have to start over at level 0 for that animal.
Honestly, you deserve that. I gave you a gift once, and you let it starve.
Although, for now, it is unfortunately seemingly impossible to completely avoid receiving Priver without never opening chests, there is still a way to keep your animals and your data safe if you do receive him. For an unknown reason, if you choose not to play in single player for about 1 month, eventually you will join the game and receive this notification stating that Priver has starved.
Oh no, my poor baby. And you say I'm a monster.
After receiving this notification, if you then check your inventory and go into pets, you will notice that your pet's name has returned to whatever it was before receiving Priver, and you will now have a normal husky pet. You will also be able to choose which pet you want to equip again, and will be able to change the name. All of your data and animals will be unchanged and unharmed, and you will no longer experience any sort of glitches or strange behavior that Priver caused. There have been no reports of any player.
Pets are a lot of work, I know, but you have to expect it. Only irresponsible people starve Priver to death.
Receiving Priver for a second time after they have managed to starve it, so you will likely be completely safe after if you act with the right course of action. Thank you all so much for...
That's it. If you want to support me, then please like, and if not, then I already know who Priver will eat next.